Welcome into the show today. Thank you for making this podcast a part of your day. Hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube or listening elsewhere, so this podcast shows up in your feed Monday through Saturday. I'd appreciate that. It's March Madness, or in other words, I like to call it March Sadness this year. Seriously. There have been maybe one or two really good NCAA March Madness games. First round is typically upset city, where you see these miraculous runs from teams that defeat the Kentuckys or defeat the top-ranked teams in the country. And we saw McNeese beat Clemson. But Clemson was the slowest white boy team that I've ever seen in the first round of March Madness history. And McNeese just out-athleticked Clemson. We saw a little bit of March Madness in the second round. We saw Colorado State go down because of a buzzer beater by Maryland in the final seconds of the game. That's what a buzzer beater is, if you didn't know the definition of what a buzzer beater was. And Colorado State's coach is now going to come over to the University of Minnesota and try to apply that same spark that he had at Colorado State at the University of Minnesota. But all of this discussion really sets up why we haven't seen much spectacular March Madness play. And I think it's a large part due to NIL money and the amount of money college athletes can make and the ability to transfer whenever you want. Because if you're a player that is on a mid-major basketball team and you want to get recognized after having one good season, you don't stay at that mid-major basketball team anymore. You move on up. Even if it is a Golden Gophers basketball team, as miserable a team as they are. Because if you decide to play for the Gophers instead of a mid-major, well, you're playing against Michigan State, you're playing against Indiana, Michigan, Purdue, and there's a chance that you're going to get recognized playing against one of those teams if you have a good game. So you see these small market collegiate basketball teams, and they're not the same that they used to be because all of their great players transfer to bigger programs for more money and to get recognized overseas or by the NBA. So that's what we're seeing this season in college basketball. That's why it's been March Sadness instead of March Madness. You're just kind of waiting for something to happen, and nothing really is. Although there is one sport where March Madness really did happen. And I texted my brother-in-law, and he said, March Mattness, because it really was March Madness. Gable Stevenson, a Gophers wrestling legend, of course, is in the NCAA finals again because the dude's a beast. You take a look at his arms, and how can anybody beat this guy? His career record at the University of Minnesota, it says here, he finished with the season with an 18-1 record and ended his college career at Minnesota with a record of 103 wins and only 3 losses. So this guy doesn't lose. And there's about 25 seconds left, and I'm going to play for you the video here in a second. He's got the lead 4-2. And somehow, this Oklahoma State wrestler, in front of the President of the United States, which is super cool, I think, How many presidents of the United States go to a collegiate NCAA wrestling match for the championship? I don't think it's ever been done, or at least not in the last decade. Trump's there watching this, and this is the greatest upset in the last century. Wrestling took all the magic out of NCAA basketball this year and had the upset of the century. And then the Oklahoma State wrestler goes around and gets congratulated by President Trump. Think about the amount of fame and maybe money going forward. Well, just think about those 15 minutes. He's got 30 seconds to go. He's down 2. No one would blame him for losing. He's going against Gable Stevenson, who never loses. He gets at his knees. He gets the 3 points, goes up by a 1, and holds on for dear life for the final 5 to 10 seconds and wins the match. And then shakes President Trump's hand. It's not March Madness, it's March Sadness, and it's March Mattness this year in NCAA collegiate sports. I saw this the other day. SportsCenter posted a screenshot of UConn women's basketball going against Arkansas State. And it's at halftime. It's 66-16. And my first reaction to this, and I posted it on my X account, you can see it at Minnesota Tim 1, is what do you say during the post-game handshake? How can you even dare to say, without a smirk, good game? You're down by 50 points at halftime. How can you say good game and actually mean that? Good season? I guess that's probably the way you would go. But historically, you go through the handshake line and say, good game, good game, good game, good game. And then you get to the bench players, and then it's even more awkward because me being a bench player in high school, what do you say to the other bench player? Hey, way to cheer on your teammates. Hey, good job. I saw you over there. I saw you standing up when your teammates took a charge. Phenomenal work. But you're up 50 points. One of your best players scores 21 points in the first half. And they outscored Arkansas State by themselves by 5 points. What do you say during that post-game handshake? Can you really say anything? All right, my final topic that I want to talk about is Adrian Peterson. Because someone posted the other day, and it said, true or false, this comes from ML Football on X. It's got 335,000 followers. Your home for everything football, credentialed media. True or false, Adrian Peterson is a top 5 running back in NFL history. Now, you look at the top 5 runners in NFL history. This is strictly running. Emmitt Smith, 18,000 yards. Walter Payton, almost 17,000 yards. Frank Gore, 16,000 yards exactly. Barry Sanders, 15,000 yards. Adrian Peterson, almost 15,000 yards. So Adrian Peterson is 5th on the all-time rushing list. And if you ask him today, he probably still thinks he'll break Emmitt Smith's record because he still probably thinks that he's in the best shape of his life. Because that's just the type of belief that Adrian Peterson has. He played in the NFL from 2007 to 2021. And we all know his MVP season where he almost broke Eric Dickerson's single season rushing record. But as far as a rusher, Adrian Peterson, top 5, fine. But as far as guys that I'm picking to be my running back, I am going to pick other guys, even outside the top 5, ahead of Adrian Peterson. And the reason why is because my ideal running back can do it all. He can catch, he can block, and he can hold on to the football. Because you look at Adrian Peterson's, his receiving receptions throughout the years, throughout his career. 19 his rookie year, 21 his second year, 43 his third year, 36, 18, 40, 29, 2 in 2014. 33, 11, 2, 9, 20, 17, 12. Adrian Peterson was not known as a guy that was a very good player catching the ball out of the backfield. And it was also not known as a guy that could hang on to the football. Because his rookie year, he lost it 4 times. His second year, he lost it 9 times. His third year, he lost it 7 times. And then 1, 1, 4, 5, 0, 7, 1, 3, 0, 3, 3, 3, 3, 0, 1, 0, 1 throughout his entire career. The dude had 49 fumbles for a 17-game average of 5 fumbles per season. That's Adrian Peterson's career. 5 fumbles per 17-game average. That's not too good. And I compare that to someone like LaDainian Tomlinson, who is 7th on the all-time rushing list. LaDainian Tomlinson had 31 fumbles throughout his entire career and had a 3 fumble average per 17 games. And then you look at his receptions. 59 catches his rookie year, 79 catches, 100 catches, 53, 51, 56, 60, 52, 20, 52, 42. My ideal running back can catch, can block, and can hold on to the football. Now, as pure rushing attackers go, Adrian Peterson is a top 5 rushing running back. But he's not an all-around great running back. AP could take anything to the house on any given play. He was unbelievable at breaking tackles and mowing guys over. But even in that NFC Championship game, people talk about the officiating, they talk about Favre's interception. Adrian Peterson's fumbles don't get enough criticism because I don't even know how many fumbles he was actually charged with because of the whole stupid NFL statistical category thing. A lot of those fumbles were on Adrian Peterson. Even though people want to be like, oh, it was Favre, according to the stats, it was Favre. It was on Adrian Peterson. He wouldn't hold on to the ball. So, as talented as Adrian Peterson was, sure, put him in the top 5 if you want to. That's not what I'm discussing. I'm discussing and making a point that if you put him top 5, I have no problem with that. But I would take other running backs outside the top 5 if I was hand-selecting running backs over Adrian Peterson because of the reasons why I just mentioned. I like to have an all-around guy that can catch, that can block, and that can run. As far as pure runners go, AP's like top of the list, despite his fumbling issues. But as far as all-around, there's plenty of guys that are better than him. There's plenty of guys that can be on the field on 3rd down because they can block for their quarterback or catch a pass out of the backfield consistently. So, saw that thrown out there. I thought that was a fun discussion to talk about. But those are the topics today. Upset of the century. Adrian Peterson. Is he a top 5 back? Sure. But there's other guys I'm taking ahead of him. And UConn women's basketball. What do you say in that post-game handshake? Good game? You kidding me? That's the show today. Thank you for making this podcast part of your day. Hit that subscribe button wherever you're watching or listening. And this podcast is 100% honest 100% of the time, and I hope you felt that today. Everyone, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good day.